2 weeks ago, my girlfriend's grandfather passed away. She was back in her hometown visiting her parents for Christmas when it happened, and whilst her family were grieving, I sat at my desk trying to write a condolence letter to be sent alongside a bunch of flowers. I sat there, pen hovering over the page, wrestling with the heavy, awkward weight of the grief. I didn't know him well, but I know her well. We've been together for almost a decade. I wanted to be sincere. I wanted to recall something specific, something that would help ease the pain, but all of my words felt clunky, inadequate, and uncomfortable. I'm not an emotional person, and so in a moment of weakness, I opened ChatGPT. My girlfriend's granddad just died, write a compassionate message. In 3 seconds, it spat out a perfect paragraph, empathetic, considerate, and exactly what I wanted to say. In fact, it was better than what I was struggling to write, and I hated it. I hated it because it was a bypass, a shortcut around the necessary emotional labour of empathy. I hadn't just delegated a task, I had delegated the visceral human emotion that came with it. The blinking cursor used to be a challenge. It was a taunt, a vast white silence demanding to be filled with the messy, chaotic debris of my own mind. It was daunting, it was difficult, but it was mine. Recently though, that cursor has changed. It's no longer a void to be filled, but a waiting mouth to be fed. It doesn't ask, "What do you think?" It asks, "What do you want me to write?" There is a subtle yet terrifying shift occurring all around us, a slow surrender of the mental friction that makes us human. AI is commonplace. No longer is it just a tool to help us work. We're using it in every facet of life, and in doing so, we're losing the very ability that defines us, the struggle to think. This reliance is seductive because it disguises itself as efficiency. But efficiency is the enemy of deep thought. Thinking is, by its very nature, inefficient. It is a wandering path involving dead ends and frustration and the collision of desperate ideas. When we outsource this to an algorithm, we're not just saving time, we are skipping the cognitive workout that builds our mental resilience. We are becoming the editors of our own lives rather than the authors. In my final year at university, I had to write a dissertation, a long, original research project designed to demonstrate subject knowledge, research skill, and most importantly, critical thinking. The beautiful thing about the dissertation is that we could choose any relevant subject to research and write about. I studied economics, and looking back, the choices were pretty much endless. I could have researched the economy of microtransactions within games, or analysed the player spending habits when presented with different monetization models in the gaming industry, topics that genuinely interest me. Instead, I chose to write about the implications of a maximum wage. Why? Well, because it was one of the 10 listed suggestions that our professor gave us. So much for critical thinking. But the story doesn't end there. Independent thought was the goal for my dissertation, but whilst ChatGPT didn't exist then, almost all of my so-called thoughts were just a stew of books, articles, and web pages that I'd read. More generally in life, my ideas are influenced by conversations that I overhear, movies that I watch, and the culture that I'm absorbed in. I am, in a sense, a biological large language model trained on the dataset of my 30 years of existence. If I am just remixing my inputs, how can any of my outputs be truly original? How am I any different to AI? I think that the difference lies in the filter. When I think, information passes through the unique, flawed, and emotional part of my mind. My remix is coloured by my specific memories, my biases, my trauma, and my joy. That friction, the clash between the external world and my inner self, is where originality lives. It isn't about creating something from nothing. It's about the unique distortion that happens when an idea passes through the human soul. AI has no soul to distort the data. It seeks the average. It seeks the most probable next word, the consensus, the middle ground. It smooths out the edges. When we rely on it to think for us, we're not expanding our minds, we're merging them. We are slowly training ourselves to accept the most probable answer as the best answer. We risk becoming a species of intellectual flatliners where every email, every essay, and every text message sounds like it was written by the same polite, hyper-competent, soulless bureaucrat. I catch myself doing it even now. When I'm stuck on a complex email at work, I feel the twitch, the urge to immediately open Copilot for assistance. It is the desire to escape the discomfort of not knowing. But the discomfort of not knowing is the precondition for learning. If you never have to sit in the dark, you'll never learn how to build a fire. We're standing on a precipice. The danger is not that AI will become sentient and destroy us. The danger is that we will become robotic ourselves. The danger is that we will forget that the value of a thought doesn't come from the polished final product, but from the messy, agonizing, beautiful struggle that births it. As we move forward, we must guard our cognitive struggle. We must refuse the convenience of the auto-generated life. We must choose the clumsy, the difficult, and the human, because in a world where everything can be simulated, the only thing that cannot be faked is the effort that took to create it. We must keep writing bad drafts. We must keep sitting with the blank page. We must keep thinking, even when, especially when it hurts.